Here, let's take a look at solving for a proportion under the curve for a negative z-score. In this example, we're asking for to identify what proportion of values fall below a z of negative 0.70. So following our steps here, we'll sketch a normal curve, which I've already done. And then we're going to label the z-score on the curve. I'll start with my z of 0, like always. And here I have what proportion of values fall below a z of negative 0.70. So, negative 0.7. Am I going to go above, to the right of 0, or to the left of 0 to shade? And I want to go to the left of 0 because I'm looking for the values below negative 0.7. So here, I'm going to the left because my z is negative. Okay, so negative 0.70. Even if I had asked for the proportion of values above a negative 0.70, I would still be drawing my vertical line to the left of the mean, or to the left of 0, because my z is negative. Right? So I've labeled the z-score on the curve. I completed that second step. And now I'm going to shade the area that represents our answer. So, do I want to shade to the left of 0.70, or do I want to shade to the right of 0.70? I want to shade to the left of 0.70 because I'm looking for the proportion of values that fall below 0.70. So I would shade over here. And then I'd ask you, what does this represent? Does it represent my proportion in the body or my proportion in the tail? You know here, this is the tail, or the smaller portion. So I want to look up the proportion in the tail in my table. Okay, now with negative z-scores, if you look in your table on the back of your book, you will see for your z's listed, they range from 0 or 0.00 to 4. But there are no negative z-scores listed whatsoever. Now why is that? Well, we know that the z-score distribution, if I draw a line right down the middle of it, I can fold one side right over on top of the other, or put it differently, it's symmetrical. One side is the mirror image of the other. So there's really no need to include negative z-scores in the table, because the proportion here in the tail below a negative 0.70 would be the same proportion over here above a 0.70. So in other words, this tail area here, if I drew 0.70 and shaded, this proportion is the exact same as this proportion because they are symmetrical. So what that tells me is I don't really need to have negative values for z in that table. So that's why your author does not include those. So to solve this problem, all we need to do now is complete our fourth and last step. Look up the value in the z table. So you want to go to your z table and you want to find where a z of 0.70 is located. And then you're going to look for the area in the tail. Okay? And in our tail, you should find under 0.70, the proportion should be 0.2420. A 0.2420 is this shaded region here. That would be your answer. But for practice, we could convert it to a percentage form. And the answer there would be 24.20% of the values in this distribution fall below a z-score of negative 0.70.